Welcome back out everybody to another All the Mods 9 creating. And last episode we left off at this, our little bad boy reactor, even though it's basic. But it is indeed a reactor and it is now fully automated, fully working. And I even made a flux plug that has its own network, which is the power reactor. Which is the one that's powering all of these machines right here. So the ones that are working towards itself, basically, they're being powered by him. So if you take a look at here, yeah, you can see this one is a red flux point, and I believe there should be another, yep, right here. And we're already stockpiling on some resources. We already have another 98 dry ice and nearly 500 uraninite, and this is all pretty automated and good so far. I do kind of feel that this area needs a lot of restructure, because it seems very empty and very not organized. So I will restructure this a little bit. Probably push the reactor a little bit further and put that machine over onto the corner. Maybe this one we can slap it over here and make it a little bit smaller, so we have a lot more space over here for other things. But that being said, we do have this entire upstairs, and of course the downstairs is still pretty much empty. Now downstairs I want to keep it for most create stuff, so upstairs we're gonna be using for today's video. And today we're gonna be using these bad boys, our energizing rods and energizing orbs, because of course if you take a look at the POWAH, we kind of want to get the better and bigger reactors. And like we saw last episode, the highest we can probably automate on its own is the spirited, because it needs spirited crystals, and these bad boys require only emeralds, which you can get in a lot of different ways. So we do still need to find an emerald vein, but we'll get to that later. But I've got pretty much all the things that we really needed right now. Those being, we were lacking a few veins, which I went ahead and grabbed. So yeah, now we have access to the diamond, to iron and gold. Of course, I did also just find the mine colonies stuff. You have the coal and the redstone. There's still copper and zinc close, but those are not really going to be needed for today's video. The ones that we need to focus on today's video is iron and gold. Why? Because if you take a look here, we need to make energized steel. Energized steel takes iron, takes gold, and gives us energized steel. So this is what we're going to be automating to start off the video. Well, I made a couple of drilling machines with a couple of netherite drills. We got the power, we got flux points, we got electric motors, we got everything we need. Well, kind of, we still need some other things, but yeah, let's get hands to work. I mean, is it just me, or does this happen to like you guys and stuff? Like, whenever you just want to get something done and you start looking, well, I'm pretty sure I checked all the boxes and I got everything, and clearly you forgot something. And you just couldn't see it until you actually start recording or building something. Then you look, oh, that's right, I needed that. Well, that thing in question is actually a mob farm. We do need a mob farm because we don't have access to any kind of mob drops at the moment. Now, we don't just need a regular mob farm. We need, well, a pretty good one at that. And to do that, I grabbed a couple of things. You know, I got some extreme vector plates. A trader once sold me some ultra vector plates, which should be really cool. I made some of these mob masher upgrades, even made one for looting, so get a little bit of extra loots, because these bad boys were a little bit expensive at the time. Now they're easier for me to make, but they do require the looting enchantment books, so we do not have an easy access to these bad boys right now. Hopefully we can then later automate this with Ars Novu, or maybe just make a couple of these, or even with this, the enchanter. But the problem with the enchanter, or we can even use the enchanting, but it does require skulls, which you don't have. You don't have a lot of these. But yeah, we can use this to make a farm. We only need spawners. Now, there were just a couple of spawners that I handpicked for this. One of them is the skeleton spawner, the pillager spawner, I'm not so sure. I've been taking a look at what we could possibly get, but I do need to check. Yeah, because it doesn't drop anything. The pillager, sorry, doesn't drop nothing. And I'm like, is this right? And I think it may be. So until proven contrary, we're not going to be using the pillager spawner. But what I do need is a wither skeleton spawner, which was given us by a quest, I believe. And I do have a bunch of broken spawners. As you can see, phantom, magma cubes, cave spiders, zombified piglins, strays, blazes. And I guess we could grab a spider one. Now, the broken spawners, we do need to either turn into these spawner or powder spawners by Ender IO, but they take, well, a few things. Yeah. They take a few items to then be able to work. So since the blaze spawners and the spider spawners are not that uncommon, I think we're better off just try and go and find some of these. So here it is, our very quick mob farm, which is kind of close to the main base, as you guys can see, just off in the next mountain, where we're going to build a second base and some other things. And yeah, basically I just slapped these guys here. I did give them a couple of upgrades in order for them to actually stay there and work. The first one I did was giving them a golden apple, because it turns off the mob AI, which means the mobs just don't do anything. They just spawn and they, well, for example, the blazes, they just fall, which is exactly what we need. Then I gave them a redstone comparator, so I could then toggle them on and off with these redstone links. You guys can see, pretty cool, pretty handy. And the last one I did give them the redstone, no, what's called the soul lantern, so they can spawn at any light level. So it doesn't matter if it's daytime, if I just do this, and yeah, they will eventually spawn. Of course, they do have their own timers. I tried to reduce the timers a little bit, but they do require a lot of automotium. I don't have a lot of them, so yeah, I kind of gave up on that. Then what do we have over here? Of course, the killing is being made by that guy with all the upgrades that I showed you. I haven't made any extra. I probably will. And then we have an absorption hopper, which for some reason it's not pumping the experience out into the experience crystal. I thought it would. Maybe it just needs a pump or something to actually pipe into it. I really thought it would, though. I really thought it would. And then I have this, which is a pretty good netherite chest, which has a lot of space. And then I gave it a couple of stack upgrades, as you guys can see. And it also has a void and a magnet. The magnet is just here for reasons. I kind of want to change that up for something else. The problem with that something else is that there isn't really anything. Because as you can see, this is a pump, right? So I can make a pump upgrade. The problem with me making a pump upgrade is that the tank is unavailable. So I can't use this. The only way that I could use it as a tank is that if I didn't make the chest, I made a backpack instead, because then I would just be able to use the tank upgrade from the backpack. And these ones are craftable, they're functional. So I may end up just swapping over into one of these bad boys, into the backpack. I did make one of these, so might as well just use them actually, and then maybe swap into a backpack, which should be a lot better. And then if we turn this on while we're at it, you can see it's gonna have a lot of drops. Already at 127 bones, and it's just gonna get crazier and crazier. And this will allow us to actually have some resources incoming. Now, there's a little bit of an issue here, and that's these crystals. I don't know how many of these we're gonna get, and if I do, or maybe I don't need to void them all, because they're gonna be very bad, basically, the ones we're gonna get. So I'm just gonna sit here and AFK a little bit and see what kind of drops we get, and if I have to do any changes whatsoever. But right now, the one thing that we're really after is this, the blaze rods. And you can see we can have up to 16,000 per slot here. So yeah, that's a lot of blaze rods, and whenever we're full, we can just, well, toggle this off, right? So I got the bad boy iron guy working, and I also did the same for the gold one. So as you can see, we now have gold and iron being farmed, and I went ahead and hooked these bad boys up with the process. And here it is, energized steel already being automated. Now, how does this work? Well, basically, the items come into this ender chest in the form of raw gold and raw iron, and then they will get crushed by the crushing wheel, which then, well, I guess you just see it over here. Yep. It also gives you crushed raw gold, and the crushed raw gold gets cooked and then gets put into these drawers through the storage controller. And we also have nuggets of experience, which we can just store over here and use later down the line. Now we need iron, we need gold whenever we get iron or we get gold, because it might take a while because the miners are not super crazy fast. As you can see, and I do believe we get more gold than more iron. I'm still to check that option. But then it came the first problem over here. You might wonder, well, how am I doing this? Well, basically, I'm outputting the gold, I'm outputting the iron and a single ingot. So only a single ingot gets pushed down. You can probably see there's a 1 there, and there's a 1 there as well. And then there's this. There's this logistical transporter here. Why? Well, that's because I hooked this bad boy up to be on a synchronized input, which means it will only take items forward when it has at least one of every single input. So 1 gold, 1 iron, and 1 crafter slot covered, because that's what I decided to use. And basically what I'm doing is I'm sending forward a piece of gold, a piece of iron, and then a cover. A cover goes into the middle one because it's the only slot available for it, and then it gets sent through the basic logistical transporter back into this place. I have to do this because without this, this input was not receiving any item, which means both the iron and the gold ingot were stuck here and they were not getting moved forward. So I added this to kind of loop around this crafter cover. So it just basically loops around. And I had another way of doing this. I actually had a comparator that would notice whenever it had the iron and the gold, and then would shut off through this clutch. But with this system, it's not needed because these guys actually take a long time to move. Yeah, as you can see, this guy, like halfway through the recipe here, it's already done. So even if I have constant amounts of iron and gold, the time that the crafter cover takes to come back is enough time for the recipe to finish over here, and then we get energized steel. I'm really proud of this setup, actually. I think it looks kind of cool. And then of course we have like a flux point powering these energized basic rods. But now, since we have this, we could probably move forward a little bit. So this is basically the recipe I had earlier for that system over there. Now we're making it for the blazing crystals. Now this is very much simplified, that I really still manually need to bring here the blaze rods. But for now, I guess we can use this system. So I put the blaze rods into here. It takes them out only 1 by 1. And whenever there's already 1 in here, the system activates the redstone link, which toggles the clutch, which stops the belt, and then it makes so that this guy has enough time to craft or do whatever it needs. And then it gives us ore blazing crystals. And by the way, these are item transporters from Industrial Foregoing. I just like how they look. They look pretty cool. And they only take the output from there as well, so that's kind of nice. And applying some of the same principles, we now have the spirited crystals and the niotic crystals using the diamond and the emerald veins. They come over here, but then they don't need the crushing wheels like those guys over there. They just need a saw. That kind of was complicated to put it in the right direction, but I managed to do it. And then, as you can see, the diamond goes into there, it goes into that drawer, but the diamonds do come out this way, and they get pushed into the orb, the energizing orb. Then the rods power it up. Of course, whenever something is there, it shuts off this belt, and then we have the same going in for the emeralds. But of course, the emerald takes 1,000,000 FE. Those rods are tiny little basic rods. They're not very fast. They try their best. Which means we kind of need to upgrade some of the rods. But do we really need to? I don't know. Probably not, because the process is right now fully automated. Of course, we do need, in case we want, a bunch of other things, you know, like for example, if you want to make solar panels, they need a lot of spirited crystals, right? But since we're passively making them, the more things we do in the world, eventually we'll have tons and tons of these bad boys. Now, the only thing that's not fully automated as of this point is the blaze rods coming into here. Now, I can do something about it, but that will require actually upgrading our storage, because our storage right now is not crazy good, because it's well centralized over there. I did make the crafting grid, or the wireless crafting grid, but it only works up to 100 blocks or something, so we kind of need to make the wireless booster that's infinite range. So it's the infinite range booster, but this guy takes unobtainium and endurium plates is okay, but the unobtainium, well, we don't yet have. And after a little bit of AFK, we now have access to the spirited version of the reactor, which outputs, well, a nifty 93,000 FE, which means we are not gonna run into power problems anytime soon, which means we can now finally do the upgrade to this, whatever this is, in terms of storage, right? Because we had problems at the start. Now we should be pretty much fine, because we can do whatever we want, sort of, in terms of power, which means we need those infinite range boosters, which of course they need unobtainium, and unobtainium can only be, well, fetched, or whatever you want to call it, in the end islands. So I gotta go to the end and actually try and find unobtainium. Now, I did make myself Aldermodium pickaxe, and I also got some raw vibranium and some vibranium sights as well. Now, I am not sure if in order to get the unobtainium, I need a vibranium pick. Maybe I do need a vibranium pick. I don't know if there's even a possibility. Okay, I don't think there is. Nope. There it is, the vibranium pickaxe. It's probably needed to mine it. So I've been looking at the quest, and it does seem like it's like the transition, right? So I probably need, yeah, to upgrade it, but for that I need vibranium upgrades, and to get those, I kind of need to go brushing in bastions. Finally found some unobtainium. This took quite a while. And it's very, very rare. I just now realized this. But luckily, with one, we can make the potions to find more. So we should be all right. Well, let's just say that this dimension is, well, something, which is taking a long time to load. Actually, it is pretty annoying. The fact that this is super empty and like very lifeless, outside of the mobs, of course. And they do have flight disabled, but of course, me being the genius that I am, I always carry my elytra. And well, if you think that, well, but flight doesn't work, so the elytra doesn't work, you'd be correct. But we also have the flux infused controller, which always gives us a small boost. So basically, we really don't care about the no fly rule because we can fly. This is probably gonna be fixed now that I'm showing it. Hopefully nobody sees it. There's only a problem, you know, I'm kind of on the run looking for... Oh, look at that, they're trying to shoot me. Trying to look for a dungeon, right? There ain't no dungeons. I don't know what I'm looking for. I don't know if it's underground. I have no clue. This is the only different block that I've found. And if I'm being honest, this is probably, yeah, just a patch of stuff. Right, yeah, okay. So that's not even anything special. Well, I'll continue my search. Hopefully I can find something. Well, luckily I can think. And I realized that I can make the structure compass, which, well, it is kind of expensive with some netherite and some aluminium, but it is definitely worth it. Especially because now it tells me, well, there's a dungeon if you go that way. And it's not rendering again. Okay, so this dimension is a little bit buggy, but we should be fine as long as things start rendering again. Okay, now we just gotta go like a few thousand blocks, luckily. Of course, we have this. Well, luckily, I was able to find it in, well, mostly because of the structure compass, and thankfully for you guys, it does actually show, like, in the map, because it's different. Now, I do wonder... Yeah, that's a lot of mobs. They seem to be normal mobs, though. So I shouldn't have any type of issues. Oh, but I can't fly. Oh, yeah. Okay, so plan B should be go all the way to the top and grab the diamond blocks and, well, try and figure out my way down from here somehow. Boy, that was not fun. That was not fun. Basically, that dungeon, it's actually underground, and I had to come. Oh, sorry, wrong keypad. I have a bunch of loot with me. I got exactly what I wanted after quite a long time in there, but basically, I also got some pig spawners, evoker spawners. I think I got, or I can go back there and get like vindicator spawners, and you can see the so many nuggets, like so many nuggets of aluminium and vibranium, blocks of netherite and stuff. Pretty cool gear as well. A lot of books in there. But basically, that's an underground dungeon. I kind of had to go online and see because I wasn't finding any chests above, and I had to make this charm belt. Now, this charm belt is actually holding a Vindicator charm and an Evoker charm, because underground this is completely filled with those guys. So I had to go into an outpost and get some charms in order to actually make some of these things. So if I click here, yeah, I can see I need some Evoker charms, and then I needed some Vindicator charms, and well, I kind of need to kill them. I also had, well, luckily I did have, I think it's up here somewhere, yeah, somewhere, if I can show it. Yep, this, which is a woodland mansion. So I was actually able to get enough Vindicator charms, Evoker charms, to actually make that, which was kind of clutch, because down there it's mostly Vindicators and Evokers. Yeah, and with this you're pretty much safe. The only thing that can bother you is Wither Skeletons, but I just didn't want to make the Wither Skeleton charm. I just kind of destroyed everything, even though I should have Wither Skeleton stuffs to make? Probably. Yeah, probably have enough to make the Wither Skeleton's charm as well. Yeah, probably have. But this is enough. This is enough. To have this one, and this one, you can see this one says 77 out of 80. That's because I killed 3 Vindicators. So if you kill them while wearing the charm, this actually takes durability out of the charm. But if you don't kill them and you just roam around, then they do nothing. And they even run from you, which is amazing. And thanks to that, we can get an unobtainium pickaxe. Which also completes another one of the Aldemodium missions. Which will get us a book, and I'm guessing this is trash. Okay, it's Fortune 5. It's actually pretty good. It's actually a pretty good book. Because we have Fortune 5 here. Now we can actually make this pickaxe have Fortune 5. Then we just need efficiency. This one has efficiency 9. I think we can get all the way up to efficiency 10. Maybe. There's probably a pick somewhere that has pretty good enchantment. I don't know. I guess we can make it. We can make the enchantment, or either get it out of this one and put it into the unobtainium pickaxe. And of course, I couldn't pass up the opportunity to now fully bring our axe all the way up to unobtainium as well, which is pretty crazy if you think about it. Put that back on there so we don't get bothered by mobs, and any other mob that we kind of don't want to mess with, we can just add it to the charm and then completely ignore it. And of course, you might notice I have Bad Omen, and yeah, I'm not get rid of Bad. Well, I could get rid of Bad Omen pretty quickly, actually. There you go, problem solved. Now that's some random villagers issue right now. So with a little bit of crafting, now that we have the unobtainium for the infinite range boosters, we can now make a dimension card, which basically gives us access to our storage everywhere in the world. Why do you not go? Oh, whoops. You go there. Now that I finally got unobtainium, I actually feel confident to click here and then to make ourselves way into the chapter 2. Now the chapter 2, as soon as I click this, we're gonna go deep into what is next. And boy oh boy, I can't wait to try and make the all the mods start. There's a lot to go through, a lot, and we're gonna keep pushing Create to the maximum of its potential, while of course getting help from every other mod whenever we... Oh my god, are you serious? Serious? When I'm doing my outro? Okay. So, like I was saying... Oh, wait. Yeah, like I was saying, there's still a lot more to come, and we're just getting started. So, hold on for the ride, and for today, that's all the time we have. So, as always, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't, and see ya in the next one. Bye!